You might have heard that Earth exists in the Goldilocks zone of our solar system, where it is neither too hot nor cold. Life exists because of water and the ongoing cycles of flora and fauna which provide each other with nutrients. Different species live in different climates and niches, and given appropriate conditions, damage can heal, and disturbances in ecosystems support new life and the evolution of new species. Now, just like life in general, our safety during and following emergency situations depends on having enough water and food, maintaining thermal comfort to not be too hot or too cold, avoiding and if necessary healing from injury, and avoiding disease or toxins. We can support safe living conditions through the design of physical systems and through practicing appropriate behaviours in both everyday life and during or after an emergency event. Now, with all of the hazards we're going to consider, you should ensure that your system can best resist the threat through appropriate design. This includes paying attention to the structure and stability of buildings and infrastructure, planting windbreaks for protection, and siting buildings and critical infrastructure to reduce fire and flood exposure. You should also consider how your property design and home system will help you to endure a potential disaster. In many situations, your property might not be directly damaged by the disaster, but regional infrastructure and services such as electricity supply, roads, internet, phone, and supplies of food and equipment may be interrupted. So often, the best preparations are about a general emergency kit, which has stored water and food, a backup emergency energy supply, and saved seed and cuttings to replace any plants that might have been damaged. I'll talk more about emergency kits in the following video, but generally, good permaculture design will help you to develop these responses. For example, your Zone 3 staple food production, which may be in a flood zone, will be supported by your Zone 1 kitchen garden to give you a yield even if the main crop is underwater. Now, even the most resilient design may be exposed to emergencies where you must make a decision to leave and avoid the threat or to take someone to help in safety. Identifying off-site places of refuge and exit paths is also an important way to support those who are more vulnerable, such as the very young, the elderly, or people affected by a temporary or long-term disability. If you care for animals in your system, you should also consider how to evacuate or free them in the event of a threat. Now, for each of these hazards, I'm going to include both ways to design in the longer term to reduce their impacts and suggest ways to behave during and in the aftermath of an emergency event. I've recorded information on each hazard as a separate video. Now, I think there is value in watching all of them, but having shorter videos allows you to focus your attention on the most relevant hazards for your site rather than getting distracted by all the potential problems.